This week has been quite a busy time for the Isle development team, with some very insightful showcases of the numerous additions that will, hopefully, come with Update 7. From the weather system, gateway, and even some of the new dinos yet to arrive. So let's not waste any more time and see what Afterthought has been cooking recently. First, we got some footage of Gateway, more specifically of a small human settlement established deep in the jungle. It is nighttime, dark, raining, with only the distant artificial lights illuminating the path. Entering the outside area of the facility, we can distinctively get the obscure and sinister feeling the dev team is looking for. The empty, abandoned camp devoid of life. The profound void of the night engulfing our surroundings with only the weak lamps showing what's around us. The sense of isolation is displayed here in great detail. If the Isle is not a horror game for dinosaurs, there is a chance that it will be for humans. The rain definitely is a major component to this, providing a fitting atmosphere which enhances the type of experience it is intended, which in this case is fear and alert. The system itself appears to be decently well done as well. The audio is dense and yet clear, helping us immerse ourselves into the environment. The effects are also quite good, the floor being wet alongside most assets present on this clip, with the neat inclusion of the dinosaurs themselves like the Dilophosaurus right here, which we will talk about in a minute, having a realistic wet texture covering most of its upper body, with small droplets slowly falling from its sides. It is very easy to miss this kind of stuff, but the presence of these small details is the difference between a good and a great game. Changing the time of day, we can observe a thick fog wrapping the entire area, giving a more relaxed environment to the presence of natural light while still forcing players to stay alert due to the limited visibility. This scene alone is demonstrating how much of an impact the new weather system can be in both immersion and atmosphere. Not to mention that so far, its execution seems to be a considerable improvement to Legacy's, which was already good in my opinion. Now moving on to the dinosaurs. At the moment, it looks like 3 in specific are being prioritized the most, namely Dilo, Herrera, and Dibble. And recently we got a glimpse of both their skins and their exclusive mechanics. Starting with the former, once again I have to say that the Isle has the best balance out of the 3 dino games when it comes to texture, pattern and colors. Not too desaturated nor overly colorful, giving us just enough variety of tones and hue intensity to allow players to artistically express themselves without losing the sense of being natural. The new alternative patterns are also pretty good, except for Dibble's, but that's just me being biased. Switching to mechanics, we already saw Herrera's climbing ability quite a while ago, but this week we got a taste of both Dibble's sparring and Dilo's venom. Diablo is now able to enter in a sparring stance. Its primary use is for inter-species combat, where 2 Dibble players can fight each other in a more controlled environment, charging and ramming one another, interlocking horns and exchanging blows. Under this stance they can also strafe, increasing the mechanics complexity even further, and while this system is mainly for inter-species confrontation, it can also be used as self-defense against predators, dodging upcoming attacks by strafing and ramming their opponents to inflict damage. Notice that under the stamina bar there's a small line with 10 tiny squares. Whenever the Dibble attacks in the sparring stance, one of these squares changes color, while the stamina bar remains unchanged, showing that these specific strikes consume a separate source just like Dryas' dodge ability. For this to be the case, I assume that these attacks must hit really hard, but until we see an actual fight, we cannot say for certain. Dilo's mechanic, on the other hand, was showcased in a lot more detail. Dilophosaurus's venom functions in a much more unique way than their tiny venomous counterparts. Upon being bitten, the victim will immediately begin to hallucinate, generating a dense fog around the player. If we switch to another clip, we can see that they also have a new resource. This time, it is consumed by performing a specific action, which in this case is an audio cue resembling some sort of laughter. In this clip in particular, the Dilo player laughs twice before the Utah dying seemingly out of nowhere. But if we go back to the initial clip once more, if you watch carefully, right after laughing, an hallucination appears behind it, implying that the fake Dilos do not spawn at random, but rather at the command of the player. If bitten a second time, the fog covers even more space and closer to the victim, with sporadic screams and noises now coming from different directions. Now, we don't exactly know if their venom actually deals damage or if it's something else. What we know for sure is that Dilophosauruses are capable of killing their prey at a distance. It is uncertain if at the later stages the hallucinations actually hurt the player or if it only later is when the venom starts killing the host, but with this limited footage it's hard to say. When it comes to its functionality, it appears to be a lot more focused on its spectacle rather than efficiency. But in Dilo's case, I actually believe that this is more of a positive. Being a venomous night hunter, having an ability that not only reduces the opponent's vision even further, but it's also capable of generating decoys to distract or confuse their prey, is very thematic and fits the sadistic vibe Dilos now seem to have. So while it may not be extremely dangerous on its own, the visual and audio effects it produces may help the hunter in an indirect way while also giving the dino in question character throughout its thematic playstyle. Ever since Cerato's introduction in Evrima, that I think Afterthought has been doing an exceptionally good job refining all the members of the roster and adding a very unique spin to them, not only making them more mechanically complex and distinct, but also systematically viable, and these 3 upcoming additions are proof of that. Even small carnies like Herrera, which will apparently still be mere scavengers, are also getting features which provides the player with a never-seen playstyle, and it opens the possibility for other species to receive similar abilities which can create new, isolated, and self-sustaining ecosystems that can make certain species viable where it wouldn't be otherwise. I'm not sure if we will get all that I talked about today in Update 7, but even if it's not the case, the next Evrima patch seems to be yet another step in the right direction. But what do you guys think? Let me know which aspect of the next update you're most excited about. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel and the content I create. If you want to join the ranks, you can do so for only $1 a month. The link will be in the description. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Join our Discord server for memes and Pillar Nut stuff, and I hope to see you all next week.